If you follow me on Twitter or are in my Discord server, you saw this a few days ago, and we're going to talk about it a little more again today because it directly affects the things that you will see, or perhaps more accurately, won't see from me and the Rainbow Six content that you typically consume. So without any preamble, I will not be on the North American League for Stage 1, which kind of stings to say out loud because that's been my home for the last 2.5 years. But it's happening for a reason and because I need it to happen. So let's dive into why. I felt generally unhappy in lots of areas of my life for around the last year. It's something I have touched on here and there in videos, but I haven't really spoken about it super frequently. One of the things that I derive a lot of value from in life is how good my work is. And for much of 2022, I felt like I haven't been putting out my best work because I don't know if I've been in the role that has allowed me to showcase the things I can actually do. Let me explain. When I first joined the NAL as a stand-in analyst in 2020, it was after 5 months of being a Challenger League caster, back when that was the only role you could have in CL because we didn't add the desk until after I had already left. Casting felt and still feels very natural to me, and I would love to do it again, but when you get a chance to work at a higher level, especially in esports, yeah, you're going to take it, regardless of whether it was the thing that you were known for before. Me turning down the opportunity to work on the NAL as an analyst would have been the most boneheaded decision I could have made and would not have led to a myriad of good things that would happen to me later. So ultimately, I am happy that I took the gig. I didn't really get the analyst role at first, but working with Veli and especially Jesse helped a lot because I was learning how to be an analyst with no real prior experience in the role. And let me tell you, learning a job on the job when it requires you to be on camera in front of thousands of people, that really does spur you on to get your performance into tip-top shape as soon as you can. But again, even though I had the analyst gig at the time, casting still felt more natural. When Doa was out sick for a week in Stage 1 of the NAL last year, I stepped in to fill in as a host. And even though I'd never worked in hosting before, I came away from those 2 days on the NAL feeling like that was also more natural. When I went to the Charlotte Major and did interviews with players for Siege GG, I went home afterwards and realized even that felt more natural. And in truth, it felt like doing analysis work never really ever truly clicked with me. I remember after the first NAL Playday in Stage 2, I was in my hotel room in Los Angeles texting a friend, and I was just really upset about this pronounced disconnect I felt between my work and myself, and how it was difficult to watch my own work back because it didn't feel like me, and I didn't feel as though my personality and my proficiencies as a presenter were best being used as an analyst. That night in that hotel room was really when I realized that I needed to move into something else if I was going to keep going in this job. Now, I would like to clarify, I am by no means ungrateful for being picked up as an analyst and kept on for as long as I have been. I cannot express how thankful I am for that because it changed my life. I left a job that I disliked to pursue something that was more exciting at the time, full time. I have met some of my best friends. I have traveled the world multiple times. I have grown a lot as a presenter and as a broadcaster, and I've been able to save up a lot of money in preparation for the future. Ubisoft taking a chance on me in 2020 is something I will go to my grave thanking them for. It's because I've been doing this job for this long that I've been able to determine the things about it that aren't exactly for me. And I mean, I'm still young. I'm only 23, so I'd rather try out a role that feels more natural and see where it takes me. This just means we need to make some changes this year. So, in Stage 1, I am officially beginning my transition from an analyst to a host. When Blast came in as the new esports partner for Rainbow Six, that was something that we discussed, and it feels like, as far as both of us are concerned, we feel like there is a fair amount of potential for me to make a transition into this and then see where that takes us. It's a big jump, but I believe with enough time and the right environment, this is something I think I can click a lot more with. I think I'm best used in a position where I can drive a conversation rather than simply be a participant in it. As an analyst, I would try to, occasionally give hot takes or be a big personality as a means of trying to stand out on the desk, but I wouldn't want to take away from the control that a host is supposed to have on a desk. So sometimes those attempts definitely fell flat. So becoming a host means I'll be able to direct the flow of things more, and that feels way more natural to me. I'll be able to use my game knowledge to ask analysts the right questions. I can set up narratives better and give them more impact, which is something I've been wanting to do since I got into broadcasting. And I can tap into more of an announcer-presenter skill set that I don't really get to use all that often.
From West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing 245 pounds, he is the current WWE Champion, John!
The point is, on a very surface level examination on what it is to be a host, I believe it's a better use of my presentation abilities and may be a better platform for my personality to shine than as an analyst. I'd like to think that my time spent being an analyst helps set me up for understanding what it means to be a host and being able to give those guys who would be on a desk with me more of an opportunity to shine as themselves. So it seems like it would be a pretty good thing for everybody involved. It's not to say that I wouldn't take analyst work if it were offered to me. Like, I think Berlin and the Invitational this year were the two best events I've done in my career, and I've proven that I can do that job at a high level. But for my own happiness and perhaps even the betterment of the products that I work on, this transition feels like a necessary step. Unfortunately, it comes at the cost of leaving home temporarily. Blast want me to work on developing in this new role on a show that isn't as high profile as the NAL, so we can see how we do. And if I'm honest, I agree that putting me on the NAL as a host in stage 1 would be really premature when I have super little experience in the role as of now. So that is why I'm working the Brazil League instead. It's still a fantastic league, and it's probably the best environment that I could ask for to learn this new thing and grow into it a lot more. But this is a league I'll work from here with a much different crew of people. And the guys that I've worked so closely with over the last 2.5 years will be in a studio in Copenhagen as they work the NAL. In the short term, if I'm honest, it's really difficult to swallow that fact because I've been around them for so long. It's a group of people with whom I feel really accepted, and it genuinely feels like home to me. But in the long term, I do know that this transition is necessary, and it's one that I need to make for myself. I'm going to do everything I can to work my way back to the NAL and beyond for whatever events may arrive. I truly believe that this jump from analyst to host can be a short one if everything goes well, but I am going to give it the time and the patience that I need to make sure I develop in this role the right way. Like, I would hate to do this somehow with some weird incorrect methodology at the start and then accidentally come back to the NAL being a downgrade. Like, I'm going to do my best to trust this process and be the host I want to be, and that works well with fellow talent and the people who are going to be watching. Initially, I would be surprised if you thought I was really that good, because it's a new endeavor and there are tons of incredible hosts in the esports space who have been doing this for far longer than I have. And now it feels like there's a far different pool of people to compare myself against, I suppose. But having worked with hosts like Monty, Doa, Veli, and Milos in the past, and spending a lot of time analyzing the works of other hosts like Shox, Freya, Dash, Machine, like, they are all people with tons of experience and lots of qualities that I do want to emulate and see if I can't figure out a way to turn them and put my own spin on it. So even if this thing takes a while, one day I want to be able to watch those people's desks and then watch my own and feel internally satisfied that I'm doing something that I was meant to do, because that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for me. It might be a lot of work, and it might take some getting used to, both for me and for you, but I am ready for a new challenge. So, come find me on the Rainbow Six Brazil League on Saturdays and Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, only at twitch.tv/Rainbow6. I get to use this voice a little bit more now. That's exciting. To everyone who said that they liked my desk work before, I really, really appreciate it, because you kept me going when I felt like I didn't really want to do it anymore. And it's because of you and your support that I hope this transition is something that you find just as enjoyable, if not more enjoyable, than the things that I have done in the past. And because I'm home again and not traveling, it means I can upload and stream again. So it's, I guess, about time to start jumping back into that. Thank you all again, and I expect to see all of you this weekend. All of you. Every last one. You better show up. If you give a shit about me, you're going to be there this weekend. Do you hear me? You better be there.